Welcome to Arise Africa. I am Chichi Nwabo, and with me is
Boye, Mark, Anthony. Good to have you guys today, and great to be here. We know we're going to have an awesome show today.
Yes, we will have an awesome show. I just wonder how you are taking care of your culture.
Yeah. I think we're doing our best.
Well, that is a mystery for now. We're keeping you in suspense. Definitely, we're going to come later and let you know all there is that we can talk about with regard to our culture.
Yeah,
so,
but before we go, like, how was your week?
My week was great. It was a beautiful week. How was yours?
Yeah, not bad. I think we've heard that ASU is going on strike. And I'm feeling so bad for students right now, and it's not nice, and it's just disheartening, honestly, when it comes to this stuff. Anyway,
but we're not going to begin with sad news.
No,
we're just going to go straight to newspaper review.
Yeah.
We want to see what has been happening in Nigeria, what stories have made the headline. So let's go right into it.
All right, and we begin with Sunday Punch. And there it says Oyetola trounces Aregbesola set for victory. Minister's faction kicks. That story is in page 3 of the Sunday Punch. And then it says world winners. No, down there. Down. It says world winners Oyetola, Basiru, Omusore, and then world losers Aregbesola, Adeotun. Basically, this is just about the primaries that is being held there. And then primary, transparent, orderly, peaceful. Owoye and Omisore says election a sham, and I think it's a shame. But then a sham will explore legal means to get justice. I think that's all we can take. Let's move over to that's says the minister, and you know that is Aregbesola.
The Guardian newspaper says local airlines struggle with depleted fleet, low market penetration. Over 48, I think you have to go up there a bit for me to see. Over 48 aircraft grounded. Operators lease 12 to sustain local operation. High maintenance costs, jet all. AI, exchange. We've got exchange rate, Hubble industry growth. Aero contractors struggle with staff salary. Federal government fails in pledges to deliver local maintenance. Organization leasing company 6 year on. It is time to save sector from collapse, says operators. And that's the major header on the Guardian newspapers. And we go down to see what else. You see pictures of our president, and that's two gentlemen there. I think that's Nuhu, that's Sirika. After sharing 45 billion naira, FCT primary schools remain shut. The story is on page 2. Wow, that's pretty sad.
Very sad. Very sad.
Education is very important,
I feel our government is not really doing so much. Australia, they say it, but in terms of implementing, maybe to remember something I saw some days ago online, and someone was saying that what you do with what you read, for example, the knowledge that you've acquired and all that, it's a great one, but then the problem there is what you do when after reading and getting that knowledge. How well do you translate those knowledge to actions? We do not see actionable causes as far as the government goes, and they say so much, but they do very less. And
I remember this time we brought a lawyer into one of our editions of the show, and he actually said that Nigeria already has blueprints, already has what they want to achieve. For probably the next 10 years. But the problem is not writing it. The problem is not coming together to decide that this is what we want. Just like you said, the problem is implementation.
And it's so
implementation when it comes to infrastructure, maintenance. when it comes to, we've got to
So many
really go
stuff.
beyond
So
just
many.
writing and talking. A lot of times, I remember last week we had a story, and remember what we talked about? We said it is not about saying we want to.
Yeah.
It's about doing it.
Yeah.
It's about implementation. So that has to be really considered.
Yeah, honestly, because now if probably a budget was raised and then something was given to the primary sector, and yet nothing is being done about revamping them and bringing them back to life, it's a sad one. Anyways, let's move over to the Tuesday paper for the week, and it's the Nigerian Tribune. And it says, after 7-hour meeting, APC fixes convention for March 26, reverses self on zonal congresses, aspirants, others film. 3 governors behind postponement, sources says. That story is at page 22 of the Nigerian Tribune. Then NANS gives FG ASU 7 days to resolve impasse, begins mobilization of members for nationwide protest. FG ASU meet today. That was as of Tuesday during the week. That NAS is I think Nigeria Association of Nigerian National Association for Nigerian Students. Yes. So that's it. Everybody, the students too do not want to stay home, honestly, and it's crazy. 2023.
Nobody wants to stay
South APC lawmakers. Okay. Yahya Bello pass votes of no confidence in Boni rather. That's a funny one. Then why we are residing call for sack of NNPC management Northern Group. I think that's all we can take for Tuesday paper. We move over to the next.
We're talking about Business Day.
Yeah.
It says MTN goes tech. How data overtook voice revenue. Okay, and that's the story about MTN, a story on business. Subsidy, labor threats, foster value destruction in Nigeria. Foster value destruction in Nigeria. Okay, well, that's for Wednesday. Democracy in jeopardy as Buhari sits on electoral bill. Right.
And that's why a lot of these guys, the picture we were seeing there,
yes,
Buhari saved democracy by signing the electoral bill. And
there's been
protest.
a lot of call of late
that
the president should sign the electoral
because it's
bill.
believed that the electoral bill will
have a direct bearing.
Yes, it will help us and it will help curtail this issue of rigging. Like, if the electoral bill is signed, then we will not be afraid of 2023 election, actually, based on what is on ground and based on what they have in plans and what is actually put together in that particular electoral, in that bill. So I don't know what's holding the president. Maybe they have other sort of, probably people are advising and all, but I hope they have a resolution as soon as possible, because someone said we are just one president away to becoming a superpower, and I pray that he too can be one of those persons that make such call, and time we remember him to be like, okay, he was the one that brought this to law and all, that kind of stuff, and it's also a feather in his cap if he wants it.
Many people are saying that his assent to the bill would actually determine whether there's going to be an election or not. That's what many are saying, but we'll see how it plays out.
I don't know how true it is, but I know I saw a video of when he was asked, like, okay, what's your plan for 2020? I was like, it's none of my business. But I do not believe he said that.
I'm sure that's meant to be a joke.
Well, let's see how it goes. Let's move over to Thursday paper, and it's this date newspaper. And then it says APC zoning presidency to South puts PDP in quandary rather, and it says Bala Mohammed ruling parties decisions constitutes no threat to us. This is basically politicking, honestly. We know that the PDP had this in mind, probably, or don't even know that, but now APC, knowing fully well that, okay, they have really falling out of favor when it comes to the South. Now they are zoning the president to the South, so I think it's a good game of chess that these guys are playing, honestly. All right, so there you see presidency Buhari to sign reworked electoral bill tomorrow. Hopefully, okay, it's a good one.
All right, so when
I think we can move
we
to
move
Friday.
over to the next newspaper, we've got the Punch, and the major header says, Russia-Ukraine war, stranded Nigerians send SOS to Buhari, demand evacuation. The story is on page 2, and it says federal government fails to provide timeline for evacuation as Ukraine shuts airspace. Experts slam government for delay as Nigerians invaded nation, writes Buhari. Well, it's no news that the war has commenced.
Yeah.
I saw images, I saw pictures, I saw video of bombing of a particular of some areas in Ukraine, and it's really not something we want. I mean, I actually had sleepless nights because of it.
Yeah, you know, I woke up like past 12 or so, and this is actually like what is invading the space, the internet space, and I read a lot as well. You get about the cause and all that, but you know we cannot dabble into those stuff. But the fact is, let's just pray for Ukraine. Let's hope that they find a resolution as soon as possible. But it doesn't look. It's not looking as though Russia really wants a peaceful resolution anytime soon. But hopefully, God will help us all. And then we are saddened because we have a lot of Nigerian, and most of the Nigerians in Ukraine are actually students. Majority of Nigerians in Ukraine are students, especially medical students and all. And it's
okay, but we have something about bring back Nigerians in Ukraine. Reps tell president.
Yeah, but so nothing can really be done, because even right now there are some Indians that are supposed to even leave Ukraine. From what we gathered, they cannot leave because the airspace has been shut down. No, you cannot. It's a no-flight zone right now because missiles are flying up and down. So you are even endangering the life of persons by even putting them, like trying to get a flight across the Ukraine airspace as well.
I'm not sure if this is the true fact, but I saw a story yesterday where the House of Rep or so, they're promising to get this Nigerian people out of Ukraine, and I think they were told, especially the students, to get permission, the necessary permissions and what have you from their institutions, and so they'll be able to leave Ukraine. We're hoping the Nigerian government would actually
they will work towards that. But my point is, there's a war going on. I get to the point, like the roads are blocked. Like it's very serious. I think they're just even trying to make it a bit mild. If you really go into details, people are already moving out of their houses, and all. Some places are just locked into their homes. You get some football coaches, you know, based on the fact that based on sports and all, some coaches that were supposed to go for a certain movement and all that, they could not go. They're trapped in their houses as we speak. So it won't be easy, but let's hope that amid the war, intervention actually comes. All right, so we'll move over to the next paper, and it is the Nigerian Tribune. Fresh opera in APC over party chair. Yeah, and as we saw in other papers, they said APC has zoned presidency to the south and then the chairmanship to the north. So it's will always be an issue. MTN Mafab pay $273.6 million ish for 5G license. Wow, that's huge. And then court orders interim forfeiture of 2 Abuja properties linked to Okorosha. Buhari not in touch with current reality, Afenifere says. And yeah, then okay, you see a picture as well. The same. Putin begins his war, invades Ukraine. I think that's all we're going to see a lot today. Electoral Act, what will become law today? Sorry, Electoral Act, what will become law today if Buhari signs 119-page document. Okay, I think they place some of the stuff there that are embedded in the law: 5 million fine or 2 years jail, or both for INEC staff refusing to disclose party membership. Wow. All right, then 100,000 naira fine, or 12 months jail, or both as well for voter the indictment. And then a party shall hold special convention or nomination congress to ratify consensus candidates. And then I think that story is in page 25, so you can get the paper for today as well.
So we're going to quickly run through the other papers. We've got 2023. Businessmen to buy foam for Oshibajo, Emefiele under pressure. Those insisting on zoning are lazy politicians, says Kwankwaso. The story is on page 26 and 29. How gunmen killed policemen, 8 others in Enugu. That is a story on page 4 and 5. And soldiers killed, 139 terrorists, kidnappers, bandits in 2 weeks at DHQ. Okwebi plane crash. Aircraft didn't have sufficient fuel to destination. AIB investigation reveals.
Wow.
I think that's all we can take on this paper. So let's check out another.
I think this is the last one. Okay. I think that's all we can take. And concerning that plane crash, no fuel. I think we really need to do better in this country. All right, guys, that's all we can take for newspaper review. When we return, it's all about the virtual streets, like Chichi likes to call it. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Arise Africa. It's time now to go to the virtual street. We've got to see the stories that are trending on social media, what people are saying. Let's we can't take it all, but we're going to take a look at least 2 of them.
Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of things have been trending. You get, like, we talk about Sue and everything that's trending. But something that caught our attention is a guy that is making Ekena Ronald. He said, a boy from my village had a bike accident and his left foot was dangling by the flesh. It's supposed to be by the flesh. And then he says, hospital wanted to amputate and his mom couldn't bear to let them, so he was stabilized and taken to a local bone healing dibia. Then today he walks with the leg, spent 9 months there, but it healed. You get. And so I think he also went on saying something there. Okay, then so now what this is trying to say, like, okay, everybody was saying, so because of that statement, a lot of persons were just saying that, oh, that means we should, some persons say, oh, then it is the local that is the way to go. Let's forget about the contemporary medicine and drugs, the medical guys and all. So other persons too had counter opinions about it, and so let's find out what people are saying here.
Okay, so we got Sean Osewa saying the doctor's decision to amputate was in error. Doctors make mistakes.
Yeah, and then someone Solara Baba says not an error. So he's a follow-up to what that guy said. It's not an error. It's just the limits of their knowledge. He said there are many conditions, disease, modern medicine claim no remedy for, but there are ways out of them traditionally. You know, most of these herbs and all this stuff that happens, I think it's what you get. So I feel that it's something that can really work, because if you check most of those bone guys, those guys really do a lot of wonders. Sorry, I don't know how they do it, but and you know, there is a part of these are parts in the south, like the Ijos. They are good with the massage and all this stuff, and most of the time that's what you might not get with your. You might need to. It will cost you even more if you want to do the normal physiotherapy and all that. And then if you get to those Ijo massagers, like they call them in this part of the country, it's they work wonders. Honestly, they really work wonders.
Okay, so let's check out more of the response. Glambi Kachi says, I wish that Trado and modern med could sheath their sword and work together. There's healing in herbs and plants, but if not done in the right proportion, underdone or overdone can be an issue. Same way modern drugs can harm the body too.
Yeah. What do you think?
Interesting.
They say the modern medicine and their doctors are yet to admit this, and that's the issue. Yeah.
Okay, so many drugs come from herbs. Quinine, the first malaria drug, came from the bark of a tree. If there are herbs that can treat erectile dysfunction, pharmacists will study them, isolate the active ingredient, determine the right dosage, the side effects, and make drugs based on them. Well,
yeah.
True.
So there's so much that we all can learn together. I think that's the okay. There's one more. There's not so Omotunde says not so sure it's error. Some take that decision when they feel the injury is infected, and to forestall it spreading, such drastic decision is taken. I know someone that opted out from such surgery and went to the local bone setters and got his bearing.
I think what you're trying to say is the traditional, they have something.
Yeah.
They have their own, what do you call it? Do I say medicine in
Yeah,
quotes?
the way
preserved
they
from generation,
yeah.
because
Yes.
that's our African thing.
Yeah.
So I think from what I heard, they're saying, okay, there are ways that the modern medicine, the orthodox, can somehow work with this traditional people.
Yeah.
You know, and then see how they can make it, what do you call it? But the traditional people,
Yeah.
truly, there are some areas that they're really, would I say, really effective. Their
True.
medicine is really effective. Many people have tried it. Now, I'm not endorsing it, right?
Yeah, no,
we're not
no,
we're not endorsing it, but we're saying that there's really something in that medicine that
I don't know. I thought we had this, but I saw one of the comments as well, and the guy was saying that what if there's like a unionism kind of thing, like an association stuff, where these guys actually sit with the medical practitioners. Let's talk things out. Let's help our people, because most of the time we've noticed that, for example, the COVID-19 is also a bit likened.
okay, so that's the one you're talking about.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
that's it.
I really wish these local guys will unionize and document their remedies, share the knowledge freely with people, and try to get people to learn these things so future generations can greatly benefit.
You get
Yes.
this is the point that I was trying to make, and you know, it's a great one, but I think we'll have to move
Move
to
over.
the next pause. So we want you to watch this video. It's important that you do so. Then when we return, we'll just get to know what people are talking. Stay tuned.
I start to do construction like this when I did 11 years. I don't do keke, helicopter, plane, tipper, caterpillar, Mercedes, Lexus, and Lambo 221. My name na Ikechukwu Divine Olamife. I be 15 years old. For all the things when I do so, I dey use aluminium, don't look, spark glue, copper wire, and motor. The motor where I dey use na from condemned DVD where I from get am. The tire wey dey my cars dem, only me construct am. I use don't look to construct the tire. Lambo 221 take me 1 month and 2 weeks. Excavator take me 1 month and 2 days. And tipper take me 2 weeks and 1 day. For all the construction wey I dey do, this Lambo 221 hard pass. Why the door open, the seat come out, the seat go inside, the door close. This Lambo 221 get pad. I do pad because I no fit comot why I put the party. You go hard for me, so the why I can't do pad to make am use tomato plate. For this Lambo 221, I do the door 5 times before I start to the work. When I come finish this Lambo 221, I feel fine. I dey appreciate myself, say I don't try. I can do the one somebody go enter am. If I see machine, I go use the engine. I can do am better. I no get material to do that one. My dream na to come automobile engineering. I like anything with machine, anything motor. They make me want go school, go learn how to do better than that one I did do. My next project now, I want to do tanker. You go get smoke, you go get wireless. I go use aluminum zinc for everything.
Alright guys, so it's a beautiful sight to behold, honestly, to see that young man doing what he loves, honestly, and we just hope that something good comes out of it. The world has seen him today, and yes, he might not have like a very great formal education, but then the brain to actually create most of these things is absolutely phenomenal, honestly.
It's talent.
Yeah.
Talent.
Very.
Let's
just see what people are talking about.
Yes.
And I know it's a lot of prayers too.
Kofo Worola Oshoko says, we have brains in this country. Okay, Rachel, right?
Yeah.
Technical
okay,
people. We've got brains in this country. See what this young boy has done. May the Lord send your helper of destiny. May your good work announce you all over the world in Jesus' name. You will surely fulfill destiny. You are meant to be great, and you shall be in Jesus' name. Amen.
And that's like what
that's having celebrated.
That's like what it is throughout. Everyone is praying and blessing the boy. Rachel Edede says, you are a great talent, my darling. You have a very bright future, my dear. You will go far. He say you will go far. Our bad leaders no go see this boy now to help. And it says to help him. Okay, I get what he's saying. Like you go far, but it says our bad leaders don't see this one to help now. It says, but Chai, I'm really touched. God bless you and give you more wisdom. You blessed such a great talent. Honestly, it's a great one.
Absolutely. Mona Chimso. Che, see talent bikono. May God bless you one day.
One day. God bless you. And yeah, and Omowumi Sayo says, this is the kind of talent Nigeria need to promote, but instead they promote the things that add no value. How I wish I can help this boy to make his dream come true, but who am I? What a country. I feel that you have something to do there. Little, every one of us have something to do. You cannot just say, oh, I wish. Small incentive that you just put in, the sharing of that video, make the boy go viral as well. So you're still helping to push. There's always something that you can do. Do not say that you do not have enough. And I think congratulations to the boy, honestly, for that wonderful achievement so far. And we hope that very soon we'll get to him actually doing real stuff there and make Nigeria proud. And yeah, so that's all we can take for the social media buzz. And when we return, we'll go into the crux of the matter. Stay tuned.
The Brine, the Belgian imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club, making prediction Chelsea and United. It's Arsenal this weekend and Liverpool.
Zinedine Zidane knows that this is not the best time to talk about Salah. Liverpool have a very important game to play against Real Madrid.
Let him go to Barcelona.
I repeat, Mourinho will never accept.
Now you have so many attacking players in that team.
ABN Sports, showing live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
All about the Word of God.
Welcome to another episode of Soul Connect.
That you will set the captives free because the anointing is on you and you'll be a Holy Ghost troublemaker.
Because when you hear something and you say something and you'll do something, you'll receive something.
God can transition you to a place of influence and impact by the power of the Holy Spirit.
Join us and So Connect on the African Broadcasting Network, showing live every Thursday at 6 p.m. West African Time.
The Belgian imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club. Mega prediction: Chelsea and United. Is Arsenal this weekend and Liverpool.
Zinedine Zidane knows that this is not the best time to talk about Salah. Liverpool have a very important game to play against Real Madrid.
Let him go to Barcelona.
I repeat, Mourinho will never accept.
Now you have so many attacking players in that team.
ABN Sports, showing live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. West African Time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
Africa today, we're going to have conversation around safeguarding our mother tongue. What is our mother tongue? What it's all about? And why the need to keep letting it move on from one generation to another? Well, it's very interesting because this week, Monday, was International Day of Mother Tongue, and hence we are talking about this very important issue. And to discuss this, we have Mr. Henry Oru, who is the Dean, School of Languages in College of Education, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Great to have you. At least someone that is actually like deep into the like the word mother tongue thing. Alright, so for starters, let's know what is the meaning of mother tongue, and if possible, you can just give us some examples as well.
Okay. The topic I've been given is safeguarding our mother tongue. I think before we actually look at what mother tongue is, there's a need for us to look at the topic as a whole, holistically. For example, the question is safeguarding our mother tongue. Now, to safeguard simply means to protect, to keep safe in order to avert a negative eventuality. And then in the context of the topic, safeguarding our mother tongue will refer to steps or measures put in place to avert three possibilities. One, the decline of the mother tongue. Two, endangerment of the mother tongue. And then thirdly, extinction of the mother tongue. Now, having said that, we'll go on to look at what mother tongue is. Simply put, mother tongue is the language first learned. It's the language one grew up with, one's native language. In other words, the language spoken by one's ancestors, also known as first language, native language, or native tongue. Now, looking at it another way, the language a child gets to hear after birth and that helps to give a definite shape to his feelings and thought is the mother tongue. And there are critical issues with this definition. One, is mother tongue just the ancestral language of the person concerned, or the language in the environment? Because we said the language the child first speaks, the language he learns or first speak, and the language he grows up with. Now, the problem with some of the definition we've given, now, if the parents of the child has lost their ancestral language and the parents had adopted the language of immediate environment, can that still be taken as a mother tongue of such persons? This is where we will need language experts, especially social linguistics, to come out with something clear in order to understand what mother tongue actually is. And so, as far as I'm concerned, and in context of this discussion, language, a mother tongue will refer simply to the language of the ancestors that a child learns from birth and then still uses to date.
Okay, awesome. That's a wonderful introduction. Wonderful one. Thank you so much for that. So one may want to ask, in this multilingual society, quite a number of local languages and some that we term foreign languages, you may want to say, okay, what is the importance? Why should I learn my mother tongue? What are the benefits of, speaking it? Because I'm sure probably you talked about some factors. It's really a situation where your parents or your mother speaks another language, and probably you grew up in another city. It happens a lot of times. Yeah. You grew up in another city, or your parents belong to two different ethnic groups and all that. So there are quite a number of situations. So what is the importance? What is the need? What are the benefits?
Okay. Mother tongue is very important, and it has a lot of benefits. I'll just mention some. One of such benefits is that mother tongue is vital in framing the thinking and emotions of the child or of a particular people. And then also, mother tongue is crucial in that it helps in improving other critical thinking and skills, and then second language learning and other literary skills. apart from that, mother tongue engenders and helps to promote family bond and attachment to one's cultural roots.
Wow.
And so these are some of the benefits of the mother tongue. In other words, mother tongue can help to check invasion into one's cultural world and then taking over one's cultural world completely.
Okay, so that means mother tongue strengthens your cultural identity.
It does. It does. It does.
Because we've got to belong somewhere.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Why is it important that we like use the word the essence of preserving and safeguarding the mother tongue? Because what's the purpose for this?
Okay. Now, we already know what the mother tongue is. Yeah. We already know the importance and some of the benefits of mother tongue. Now, we hold an obligation and duty to preserve or safeguard our mother tongue for various reasons. Now, one of such reasons, it is the medium of transmitting our culture from one generation to the other. And then, mother tongue is a very veritable and authoritative tool for this transmission of our culture from one generation to another. And one of the ways of preserving our cultural heritage and upholding or maintaining our tribal identity, that's one function or purpose of mother tongue. In other words, it helps us to engender as well as preserve our cultural identity. And then also, mother tongue is important. The purpose of preserving it, it helps to forestall one, endangerment of the language, and then eventual extinction of the language. So mother tongue is preservation. We forestall these two possibilities. One, endangerment of the language, and then secondly, the language going into complete extinction. So that's one of the reasons, or some of the reasons why we need to preserve our mother tongue.
As a creative person, what I see is a mother tongue. It is entrenched our identity. It is entrenched our lifestyle. Yeah. You know, it is entrenched everything. Our food. You know, and I just feel that if probably just like you said, the purpose is to keep these things because there is uniqueness in every mother tongue. There's something that's sort of different from one to the other. You know, it just tells me, for example, I remember you said Maje, your surname. That means you're Shekiri, for example. Yeah. So what about if the mother tongue, you know, goes away? What would happen to those little things, those things that they have to add to the food that makes it different? But anyway, let's talk about the challenges, especially like I mentioned in this kind of a multilingual society like ours. Let's talk about the challenges of, you know, preserving or safeguarding our culture.
Okay. Safeguarding or preserving our mother tongue.
Mother tongue, yes.
We have several challenges. We'll just list 2 or 3. Now, one of such challenges has to do with the surrounding foreign language that surrounds our mother tongue, and especially the English language and its pidgin variant. Is a challenge to the preservation of the mother tongue. Now, again, when one lacks love, respect, and own up such mother tongue, and then you don't take pride in speaking that language, is a major challenge. And then also, when mother tongue is not commonly or frequently used in the home, that's the challenge, especially now that we live in a pluralistic society where we have variety, especially the pidgin English. And so we resort to speaking such that English language or pidgin English is a major challenge to preserving the mother tongue. And then let's not forget the issue of multiplicity of culture resulting from urbanization. Now, recall that the pristine society of our ancestors that their society was characterized majorly by, as it were, just one culture, their own indigenous culture. And so it is rural, as against the plurality of cultures that we have now. With these cultures, each of these cultures have their languages, and that in itself is a challenge to preserving our mother tongue. Let's not also forget the issue of intratribal marriage or intercultural marriage, where both parents belong to two different tribes, and so the child is torn between a language war, especially where the father and the mother do not have a common language in their home.
Yes.
And then maybe they do not understand each other. They may resort to the language that's common to them, which is either the English language or the Pidgin English. And in such a case, it becomes a problem to preserving the mother tongue, because that home has completely lost touch with the mother tongue, and so it will affect the child also.
I think that's a very
well said.
Great point, and it has actually entered a lot of our questions too, and we are really out of time. But I will ask probably one final question, and says how and why should we revive the interest in understanding our mother tongue? How do we go about this, and why should we do this? Because from what all you have said now, we are gradually really pushing this stuff out of into extinction somehow, and it's actually in danger. So how can we really bring this back?
Now, you asked two questions there. How and why?
Why?
How and why? Now, let's look at the why first. Now, we've stressed one point over and over: plurality of cultures in our present society.
Yes.
And as it were, our languages or our mother tongue is already endangered, and it's at the verge of extinction. And if something is not urgently done, the language may just go into extinction, go beyond endangerment to go into extinction. Our language social, our cultural milieu is already overflooded by foreign influence, foreign cultures. And if we don't urgently do something, then there will be, one, a generational gap, two, a detachment from our cultural roots, and then a loss of our tribal identity. And then how do we go about it now? One of the causes of why our mother tongue is dying is lack of its usage in their home.
Okay.
And so if it must be revived, their parents in the home must resort to using their mother tongue commonly, frequently. Yes. That's one point. And then again, if the language is not documented, and so one of the ways to revive it is through documentation of the language. And how do we document the language? Now, apart from putting it down in books, we can use them like it was in the past, where, as against the modern media, where almost everything is in English language or Pidgin English, we can resort to using our mother tongue in some of these, like the Englishman will just use English language in his cartoon. We can decide to use our mother tongue to bring our cartoons for our children to watch. In such ways, you will be preserving the mother tongue. And so I think if we do that, documentation now goes beyond just writing down in book. Keeping them in our how do I put it now? In our storytellings, our moonlight plays, all of this will help in documentation of that. Let's encourage once again, as it was in the past, Moonlight plays as against what we are used to now. Watch sitting before TV, just listen to foreign language all the time. No, let's adopt this into our languages, and then you will see that in such a way our mother tongue will be preserved.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Wow. So what's your final words?
Now, my final word is this. For mother tongue to be preserved, we must love, respect, be proud of speaking our mother tongue. We must own it up. We must see it as our own. If we don't do everything to preserve it, nature will help us to destroy it. Outside that, others will also help us to destroy it. In other words, they want us to adopt their own as against our own. So the way out, let's love our language, our mother tongue. Let's speak it. Let's encourage its speaking. Let's encourage its usage. And then we can also find out a network with government to take up the teaching of mother tongue, especially in the schools in our immediate environment. Let it be a teaching subject in schools. In this way, I think mother tongue will be, the extinction or endangerment of mother tongue will be forestalled.
Wow, well said. Well said. I think that was a what do you call it, a learning curve.
Yeah. Honestly, we gained so much from this. We'll say a very big thank you, sir, for the availing us with your time for this. And I know that you too that's watching, you've learned so much as well. I will say a big thank you to Mr. Henry Oru. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Pleasure.
Welcome. And Chichi, any final words?
Well, I would say to you to preserve your mother tongue. I've seen situations where you answer a particular native name, not you. We answer a particular native name, but we don't know how to speak the language. Remember, inherent in the language is your lifestyle, it's your food, it's the secrets in medicine, and so many other things. So there is a need, from what you've learned today, to keep your language, sacrosanct.
Yeah.
Make sure it doesn't go into extinction. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be back next week with something more exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And you that's watching us too, remember, Arise Africa is open for sponsorship, so do well to reach out to us and then be with us next week Friday. And concerning the mother tongue, let it be spoken at home. Teach your children, make sure you teach them. Let's do it right, so our mother tongue do not go on extinction. Thank you guys for watching. I am Boye Mark-Anthony. It's bye for now.
Bye for now.
The Belgian imports into Man City have signed a new contract extension with the club. Mega prediction, Chelsea